Hello, France. Lukashenko and Putin, they just throw up their hands. It seems like the country is huge. We have everything. But now no one knows how to survive.
Sorry that our conversation isn't exactly festive, but yesterday we spent almost the whole day with Putin trying to figure out how we can survive in these tough times.
The year is 2022, and we'll capture Ukraine in 3 days. What's there to capture? It's just Ukraine. The year is 2025. How do we survive in these tough times?
Russia, an empire, huge, rich, with endless wealth. And today I'm thinking, how do we survive together? You'd think there's nothing to worry about. Everything's right at your feet, but it's not like that at all. The world is being carved up into pieces. They're tearing it apart in chunks. This is yours, that's yours, and then they start to squeeze. We don't even have countries left, and I have to convince you to work. But does our generation really have to go through war again?
Depends on who needs it. The people don't. But illegitimate dictators do. Sverdlovsk region. Severodvinsk. Import substituted miners. "80 years since the great victory." You remember, right? Our grandfathers fought so that later, Indians would be brought into Russia to mine labor and ship it off to China and India for pennies. Dagestan. At the celebration of Izberbash's 75th anniversary, people caused a stampede over free food. Let me fill my belly in the richest country in the world with oil, gold, and diamonds.
The authorities really have set a course to fund the war by any means, in any way possible, no matter what else it costs.
Com cash register. Attention, you are being served by a former participant of the special military operation. My outbursts of anger are temporary. Please don't respond to them. Yes, you shouldn't react to anger. Just don't. You just need to come up from behind, give a pat on the back, and whisper 2 words in their ear. The bird is flying. Occupied Crimea in Sevastopol. People are standing in line for 5 hours to get gasoline.
Good evening, everyone. That's the reality of life. No sign of gasoline, 95 octane. 83 rubles. Thank God, at least it showed up. There was none all day. Will things level out soon or not? But for now, the oil refineries have been hit and aren't working. And who knows if drones will strike even deeper? They haven't been shot down yet. So war is like that. I don't know when people will realize that it affects everyone.
Honestly, it feels like people will end up riding horses again, heating with firewood in winter, and endlessly arguing, trying to prove to each other who's to blame. Ukraine or America? Former State Duma Deputy Irina PSO, who once proposed the death penalty for publishing, because of his 19-year-old assistant, and then fled Russia. What was he fighting for? And what did he become?
A little bit about healthcare in America, specifically in the state of Nevada. The small town of Fallon with a population of 10,000. Look, there's a helicopter. On the right is the equipment hangar. On the left is the ambulance. That's the emergency vehicle. It's wild. There it is, looking sharp in its cover. God willing, they won't have to use it much, but honestly, I'm shocked. My hometown, Shegri in the Kursk region, has about the same population, but for some reason, the hospital there doesn't have a helicopter. Such a beauty, brand new, Nevada, this isn't even California. There they are, the pickups. Why did they buy so many of them? I have no idea.
Why haven't they bought a bunch of them for themselves yet? Because Donald Trump has only been in power for 1 year. Some guy, he's saying something sensible. Hi.
Like the Ukrainian language. I really like it. I know a little bit of it, because back in my student days I tried to read Kobzar. 4 of them grasping such an idea, nowhere and nobody, holding their heads in their hands. You wonder why there are no ideas. The apostle of truth and science.
These days, for poems like that, at 4 a.m, the cops would bust down your door with a sledgehammer. And the prosecutor would ask for 15 to 17 years.
Both in Ukraine, in Russia, and in other CIS countries. We talk about European integration and being oriented toward Europe. But why? Because over there, the economy is doing well, people live comfortably, and we want to live like that too.
But for saying something like that, you'd get life in prison. He's saying something smart. By the way, do you happen to know where he disappeared to? What happened to him?